Archimedes was one of the most brilliant scientists and mathematicians to ever walk the earth, being the first to calculate pi and inventing things like the Archimedes screw, which is still used agriculturally today, even though it was invented in about 300 BC. The works of this brilliant man were written on papyrus scrolls and eventually turned into a codex, basically an ancient book by Greek scholars. This book was kept in the Byzantine library until 1229, when a Greek monk wanted some more paper. Parchment was expensive in the 13th century, and this monk needed a prayer book. He decided he was going to reuse the parchment Archimedes had used to record his discoveries, meaning all Archimedes' work would have to be completely erased. The monk started by scraping off the ink, then he cut the pages into smaller squares. After this, he started work on his palimpsest, or a manuscript where the original text has been written over by a new work. After a while, the monk had his new prayer book, and the world had been completely rid of some of Archimedes' most brilliant discoveries. Fortunately, this was not the last time anyone would see of the Greek scientist's work, as the palimpsest was discovered in the late 1800s, and when examined in 1906 by a scientist named Johann Heiberg, it was revealed that the manuscript contained previously unknown works of Archimedes, the most famous of the works being Method and Stomachion, which were used for finding the volume of certain objects and breaking a square into 14 equal parts. Archimedes' lost work was not completely recovered till almost 1990, when the palimpsest was auctioned to an anonymous buyer and donated to the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore. It was at that museum where researchers used advanced imaging techniques to completely recover the erased work, which included mathematical concepts way ahead of Archimedes' time. He was using concepts similar to calculus nearly 200 years before it was formally invented. He was also using concepts similar to combinatorics, which is a field essential to modern-day computer science and coding. It's safe to say this somewhat rediscoverization of Archimedes' work cemented him as one of the most brilliant minds of all time. While the story of the monk destroying Archimedes' revolutionary work could be somewhat frustrating to some when they think about how the destruction of the original manuscripts delayed the development of new theories in mathematics by thousands of years, it has been theorized that the monk's actions actually helped preserve the works of Archimedes. If he had not turned the original parchment into something else, it likely would have been discarded, never to be found or appreciated by future generations. So even though the monk destroyed some of the most advanced theories in science and mathematics at the time, he actually ended up saving them from destruction, ensuring that modern humans could further study the brilliant works of Archimedes.